Who will be the Raiders starting quarterback week 1? And here we are a week and a half before 1 week before the draft. The only Raiders on the depth chart that have any chance of playing are Gardner Minshew, Aidan O'Connell. As of right this second, the Raiders are still sitting at 13. There hasn't been any trades of up or down or whatever. There hasn't been any new giant news about quarterback. And yet, no one really truly knows, from Mark Davis to Tom Telesco to Antonio Pierce to Soto or me, who the starting quarterback is going to be for the Raiders week 1. So we ask you, let us know in the comment section. Who do you think the Raiders starting quarterback will be week 1? This is your chance to sound off and say, I called it. I called it in April that we were going to draft so-and-so, or so-and-so was going to beat out so-and-so, or that's what was going to happen. This is your chance to sound off. Because I have my feelings, Soto. I have my guesses. I'm doing the math, right? Like, okay, well, these are the quarterbacks on board, and this is our spot in the draft, and so I think so-and-so. But if you think there's an over 50% chance that any name is quarterback, I think you're crazy. But I want you to sound off and be able to say, I told you so, come early September.
Well, when you don't have a lot of information, because we're missing a big piece of information, we're missing who the third quarterback is going to be. Mm-hmm. Is it going to be, one of the rookies that we draft? Is it going to be somebody that we get off the street? Is it going to be an undrafted guy because we didn't draft the guy, in the draft itself? There's a lot of unknowns, so you got to think logically. Number one, you got to follow the money. Minshew's making more money. He's got more starts. He's got more experience. He hasn't played bad when he started. In that respect, that leans a little bit towards him. Now, you talk about, offensive familiarity. Both of these guys are coming in brand new offense. Getsy's a brand new OC, so you can't give O'Connell the heads up on that because he's been in the system for 2 years, because he hasn't. I don't know that if we pick, without picking any one of the top two, those are the only two quarterbacks I see starting right away. Is Caleb Williams and Jayden Daniels. That's it. The other guys, they're going to sit for a little bit, I think, before they start. So it's not going to be.
Well, I think there's a possibility like a penix or a nix.
I don't think so.
Could start.
No, I don't think so. There's a big issue that I have with quarterbacks who haven't had to adjust protection, who haven't had to, take snaps under center. There's nobody on the sidelines with a big cue card showing them, what the plays are and stuff like that. It's a whole different ball game in that respect. There's going to be a learning curve, especially for those two guys, because those offenses, those were like run and gun, look for a couple of hand signals and a cue card and off you go. The checks were made by the coaches. They didn't make their own audibles and stuff. They didn't do their own audibles. And they're not like unique snowflakes when it comes to that. Like a lot of college quarterbacks come into the NFL like that. But, my main thing is, if you're going to start in the NFL as a quarterback, you have to be able to protect yourself. And if you don't understand or have a high level understanding of protection, of sliding protection, of blitzes, of where the pressure's coming from, stuff like that, if you haven't had to do it, I don't see them starting right away.
Well, we can definitely eliminate any free agent quarterback right now. There's no free agent quarterback that's going to start over Gardner or Farva, right? We can eliminate that. We can definitely eliminate any quarterback drafted. I'll disagree that I think if we do go first round, I think there's a stronger possibility that he starts week 1 than you think. But you make great points. Like there's, if we draft Penix or Nix in the first round or whatever happens, that there's a really good chance that we sit him for a while until they figure it out, and it's certainly a possibility. I think there's a stronger chance that they do start than you do, but it's I'm not going to die on that hill by any means whatsoever. You make great points, but unless it's a first round. Or maybe, and we'll get to it later in the show, there's these possibilities that Penix slips into the second, or a Nix in the second. I assume there's a possibility that they start for us, But other than that, it's literally either only first round quarterback, Favre or Minshew. I can't think of any free agent, any second, third, fourth round quarterback, any like. There's really no other situation, right? There's no other plausible scenario. Like, is there a trade out there that makes sense? Is there any other quarterback out there other than the two we have and a first rounder starting first week one? There can't be.
There really isn't. There really isn't.
Yeah.
There's not a scenario out there where that's going to happen. And I just don't see it, man. I don't see us getting in one. I don't see us getting Williams or Daniels. I don't see that. So there's that. The other guys, I mean, even like McCarthy, who's been in more of a pro style offense under center, turning his back to the defense on play actions and stuff like that. That's another thing too. Most of these guys don't turn their backs to the defense. Mm-hmm. They're in shotgun most of the time. So, I mean, it's I just don't see it right now. I don't see it.
This is something I was wondering. If Minshew and Favre are exactly equal, Favre gets the start. He's been there longer. He's cheaper. And he obviously more reps are better for the second year player, right? Like if all things are equal, we'd rather have Favre start. I'm wondering if Minshew, and I'm using not real numbers because it's not this concrete, but let's say Minshew, the coaching staff think Minshew is 10% better than Aidan O'Connell. He's 10% better. I think they still start Favre. Now, if Minshew is clearly better, and you think is going to be a big difference between wins and losses, then they go with Minshew. But because Favre's cheaper, you have him longer, the more he plays, the faster he's going to get better. Like Minshew's in his fifth year, sixth year, right? So it's he's not going to exponentially get better with every game he plays. Whereas there's a good chance that Aidan O'Connell will be in that same situation. Where do you stand on that? Do you think that there's a number where it's all right, if they think Minshew's 10% better, but we're still going to start Favre? Or do you think it's just no, whoever the best guy is, all other factors, throw it out the window. It's literally, who do we think gives us a 1% better chance of winning in this game? That's who starts.
That depends on one big thing: who we take in the draft and where we take them. If we take a guy in the first or second round or high up that we think is going to be the future at quarterback, there's no need to really rush the development of Aidan O'Connell. Mm-hmm. It's whoever's the better quarterback from the two.
At that point, the question is, do we start who we draft? Right. At that point, it's when does the rookie come?
When is he ready?
Right. So when are those reps more valuable than the risk of them losing or not? Or are being completely lost, right? Yeah. It's the equation's different at that point because those reps are so valuable for their development, but you don't want them to be just completely shit in the bed. You know what I mean? You got to find that gray area somewhere. Hey,